Okay, first we have solving linear equations. Well, I mean, all you do here is just subtract or add something on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, and they cancel and you can isolate the variable, so it's pretty simple. Adding integers. Yeah, for me, this is much harder than solving linear equations, because you can just mess up in so many different ways. In solving linear equations, you can plug the variable back in, but in adding integers, you have to do all the number line stuff, and there's a lot of weird rules to memorize. Okay, factoring quadratics. This is extreme for me. In the beginning, I had absolutely no idea how to factor quadratics, but once I got used to it, it got better. But for a person who doesn't really know the concept right off the bat, it's extreme. Graphing quadratics. Yeah, that's on the most extreme in the extreme category. Yeah. Adding and subtracting fractions. It's pretty simple. I would say it's more simple than solving linear equations. Basically, all you need to do here is just make the common denominator, and you're basically done. Okay, graphing points. This is probably in between solving linear equations and adding and subtracting fractions. Sometimes even I get confused with the, I accidentally swap the x and the y and that stuff. But if the x value is just how much horizontally and the y value is how much vertically, so it shouldn't be that hard. 4 operations. Yeah, it's probably the first thing you learn. FOIL method. Yeah. FOIL method, it's difficult. You have to multiply 4 times to memorize the order. You have to multiply the terms, so it's not that easy. Graphing lines. Graphing lines is probably, yeah, it's probably here. You do have like slope-intercept form, which is where it's pretty simple, but knowing the slope and knowing the intercepts, and it's a big pain. Distributive property. I still remember I used to struggle with distributive property a lot, especially when you're distributing negative numbers. Like, that was just a big pain. I'll probably make another video about this, about how I messed up horribly on the distributive property. I'll probably say it's about here. Yeah, it might seem really easy, but with the negatives, it's bad. Multiplying and dividing fractions. I'll say it's actually a bit easier than adding and subtracting fractions, just because you basically just have to multiply or divide the numerators and denominators. You don't have to make a common denominator. You literally just multiply. Well, of course there is like canceling and that stuff, but it's pretty simple. Pythagorean theorem. Yeah. It's probably about here, because you have to understand some triangles and the sides of the triangles. Evaluating expressions. Yeah, it's probably easier than solving linear equations. You basically just plug in a variable. That's basically it. Area of a triangle. It's a pretty easy formula. The height times the base divided by 2. I usually don't mess up that much on this, so I would put it about here. You know what? I'll put about here. It's literally just a formula I have to memorize, and it's pretty easy to memorize too. So there, a lot of things are pretty simple. area of a circle. I think it's actually pretty hard because it's not that intuitive, you know. Like you can't really just look at a circle and just know automatically it's pi r squared, right? You actually have to memorize the formula, and there's no good way of like estimating or anything like that. It's just a formula, and it's also pretty difficult to prove. Solving systems of linear equations. This is pretty extreme. It's probably less extreme than graphing quadratics, but you have to do a lot of plugging in. There's different forms. It's pretty hard.